Okay, we're getting everything buttoned up so we can head out on day 3 of making our way back up to South Dakota, limping Miss Emmy along. US 83, while a nice road, is also a pretty busy road. Yeah, so we're going to have to wait a moment to pull out. Because here comes a whole little row. But things are going well travel-wise, so that's a good thing. Okay, we're getting everything buttoned up so we can head out on day 3 of making our way back up to South Dakota, limping Miss Emmy along, nursing her with regular infusions of coolant. We're finding right now if we stop every 45 minutes to an hour, bring the surge jug bucket thing up to fill it to like the halfway point, we're able to go a ways, and we haven't had the low water warning come on at all in this trek, which is really good. We're so grateful too for our friends at Discovery Tech, since, hey, seriously, if you belong, or if you don't belong, I don't know how to phrase it. It's early in the, oh, it's not that early, my brain's just not all here yet. If you do not belong to a group that supports RVers, or in our case, very model specific, we love the fact we joined Discovery Owners Association and specifically the Discovery Texans chapter, because they have been a huge help through this process. Those guys helped us figure out that, yeah, we might have the 53 block Cummins engine, Cummins ISB. We're going to try and verify that, but that's certainly the symptoms we're getting from Miss Emmy as we're traveling. So some of the tips with the information they shared with us, Chris was able to look up. There were some tips other people who dealt with that issue shared, and we're going to try and implement some of those today, like things like warming the engine up for about 15 minutes before driving help minimize the leak. Really? Hey, we'll give it a try. What have we got to lose?
Check the radiator and the coolant overflow box, and the coolant overflow box was empty, but the radiator was full for a good start. So I filled it up about 2/3 up for the box, and hopefully we'll be able to have no problems, Lord willing, on our way to North Platte.
Yes. God has been very, very good to us during this little exciting adventure in our RV life. Hey, and we're off. Day 3, going from Oakley, Nebraska to North Platte. At least we were able to squeak in getting a load of laundry done while we were here. Okay, so here's a cool thing that happened. One of the tips we saw, get out of the wind here, was warm up the engine about 15 minutes. Okay, I just got back out of the wind. We saw a spot we could pull over to an old abandoned gas station, well, semi-abandoned. Chris checked the level. The tip we used, I don't know if you could hear me over the wind and the motor noise. One of the tips on that 53 block engine was that they allowed it to warm up about 15 minutes before setting out, and that seemed to slow the leak down, and we concur. The surge jug bucket thing, that little white box, only needed a little bit added to it instead of, you know, filling the whole thing in a similar time frame. So that's awesome. Yeah, the shoulders are not as nice. The shoulders just are not as nice in this section of US 83. But that's okay. We're able to find places to pull off if we need to. And traffic is a whole lot lighter than what we dealt with yesterday, and that's a very good thing. This is our welcome to Nebraska, our last state before we hit South Dakota and the Black Hills Wild Horse Sanctuary, our northern home base. And lo and behold, yeah, like every state we've been through, road work. In this case, we're waiting for the flagger. Ah, well, such is life. Okay, one of the cool things about the leak we have, well, if you can call it cool, But one of the breaks we get with it is if we're idling, she doesn't really seem to leak. Oops, here we go. Well, the walkie-talkie concept has worked really well, except note to self. Recharge them the night before. Didn't do that. Mine's almost completely out of power. Chris has some, but it's like, yeah, oh well. What are you going to do? Fortunately, after 42 years of marriage, we pretty much can read each other as we're driving and play and follow the leader. That was a little tight turn into a picnic, roadside picnic area so that we can get that tank checked. But Chris is a pro at handling Miss Emmy, so that worked out fine. Of course, he's going to stay wide of those trees. But it's Miss Emmy's due for a check. We're trying to do that every 20 to 30 miles now. And that just seems to be a good pace since we're going through some pretty hilly territory. Oh yeah, note to self. I will be plugging both our walkie-talkies in tonight. Yeah, don't worry. Charge the batteries, charge the batteries. We got this. Let's see if we can find the 53. There's the passenger. Nope, that's not it. It's driver's side. No, passenger side. We know it's not going to be under the back. Now, this side is going to play most likely. That's where we smell it at. Don't get anything beyond that.
Not here.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
Go under there.
Under there.
Yeah, under the back end.
Okay, under the back end.
Way under. I'm caught up.
That's what I did.
There we go. If we had a truck,
Don't need that. Do we? No, we don't. Oh, that's a picture of my hand. That's no good.